Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host with the most, as always, Francois878, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Vaykor Sydon, as the footage that you're seeing would suggest. This is the new melee weapon from the Steel Meridian Syndicate. You can purchase it from them for 125 standing. This weapon does require you to be the final rank in that syndicate in order to purchase. It also requires you to be mastery rank 8 in order to equip. Now this weapon, like the rest of the melee syndicate weapons, does not have the innate syndicate AoE proc. This weapon, in fact, has a unique passive, and that is when you block with the Vaykor Sydon, you build a charge. Once that charge reaches 15, every shot counts as one charge. Once it hits 15, you can release your block, and it will cast a radial blind that will hit everything in its range. The radial blind is affected by range and duration mods, so Primed Reach and Lasting Sting are going to be quite important on this build. Real quick, we're going to go through the basic stats for this weapon and compare them to the vanilla Sydon. The Vaykor Sydon on base physical damage is 85, primarily in puncture. It is a little bit higher than the vanilla's base 75. The attack speed on the Vaykor is also higher at 1.08 versus the vanilla's 0.917. Not a huge increase, but it's enough. The status chance for the Vaykor Sydon is 25%, which is tied for the vanilla version, which is very important because Lasting Sting, which increases the duration of status effects, is a almost crucial mod for the radial blind build for this particular weapon. I would highly recommend a status chance build unless you're going for a more meta-focused Blood Rush body count build. That's up to you guys, though. Crit chance is slightly higher for the Vaykor at 15% versus the vanilla's 10%, and the crit damage multiplier for both weapons is 2.0. So objectively, this weapon is a direct upgrade to the vanilla, in addition to having the unique radial blind effect on the guard. Now I've got two builds to show you guys today. Like I said earlier, this first one, Shimmering Blight, is what fit into this particular weapon as far as stance mods go. You'll have to reforma the weapon if you would like a different mod in that stance slot. Primed Reach and Lasting Sting are very important if you're going to focus on the weapon as a radial blind machine that increases the range and duration of the radial blind. They're almost necessary if you really want to be using that as much as you possibly can. This second build here, Blood Rush, Body Count, Berserker, pretty standard meta build. I also had Life Strike on there just to increase survivability a little bit. This next build here is, again, same sort of thing with the Primed Reach and the Lasting Sting. Now, something that I would recommend doing that I did not really present well in the builds is if you're going to be having Lasting Sting on the Vaykor Sydon to increase the duration of the blind, increasing the status chance of this weapon is also should be recommended, because if you can inflict more status effects, they'll last longer and you'll have more of a chance to take advantage of them. Now, you will be doing slightly less damage overall, but honestly, once you get into, level 70, 80, 90, 100 level enemies, status procs will be more beneficial to you than flat damage. So this weapon would actually benefit more from the 60% elemental damage, 60% status chance mods more than the flat 90% elemental damage mods. Now, to get to the nitty-gritty of this weapon and what I think of it, basically, I think it takes too long. It takes 15 attacks or shots to charge the radial blind. If you're using a caster frame or a frame that has limited health or shields or no health and shield mods, on any level past like level 30 enemies, you're gonna have a real hard time being able, you're gonna have a real hard time staying alive through taking 15 shots. With the damage reduction on this weapon on blocking, it's just not enough. It just flat out isn't enough. So honestly, I think this would have been a really cool passive on the Aachen Brunt, which is also a Grineer weapon, and it's a sword and shield, and it has a 90% damage mitigation on blocking, which means you would actually be able to survive taking 15 shots on higher level enemies. But right now, it's a cool effect, but if you don't use this melee weapon with Anaros or Valkyr or just any frame that has high survivability, the odds of you being able to make it to 15 charge and being able to unleash the radial blind is a little on the trickier side. Also, you can't jump, you can slide, I believe, but you can't bullet jump, you can't regular jump, you can't really do anything. The charge counter is very finicky on what you can and can't do. Basically, you kind of have to just stand there and block, because any sort of parkour will immediately return the counter to 0, and you'll have to completely recharge the radial blind. That is also not a great feature, and it kind of hurts the Vaykor Sydon's overall usefulness. Being able to keep the counter wherever it's at and being able to maneuver and bullet jump would be much more helpful. And honestly, because the counter is at 15, which is a lot, I don't feel like it would really hinder the weapon or make it OP so much. But that's just me. That's my thoughts on it. I think this was middle of the road as far as passives go for the melee syndicates. I think there were definitely melee syndicates with worse passives, but I think this one could definitely use some work. Thank you very much for coming. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I've been your host of the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.